How was your day? Maybe it felt like everyone around you wanted something. A response, a performance, a version of you that wasn't quite right. There's a story about exactly that. Being watched, being expected to smile when everything inside you is grief. It's called Hamlet. William Shakespeare wrote it around 1600. Tonight's story is about exactly what you carried today. The weight of what you can't say out loud in a room full of people who need you to smile. Get comfortable. If you drift off, that's fine. Maybe today you had to hold something, grief or anger, or just exhaustion. And keep holding it because the room wasn't safe to put it down. That's what tonight is. A place to put it down. Every week, one book. No pressure. If you want to know when the next one arrives, there's a subscribe button somewhere on this page. Elsinore Castle sits on a cliff above the North Sea. Denmark's northernmost reach, where wind comes in off the water and never fully stops. Tonight the guards are uneasy. Bernardo arrives to relieve Francisco at the watch. Who's there? The first words of the play. Even the challenge sounds frightened. Something has been seen on these walls. Horatio joins them. A scholar, a skeptic. He doesn't believe in ghosts. He came tonight to see for himself. Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy. He's about to be wrong. And then the ghost appears. Full armor, visor up, the same commanding height as the dead king. The guards freeze. Horatio steps forward, mouth open, disbelief collapsing. Horatio tries to speak, commands it to stop, to speak, to reveal what it wants. The cock crows. Dawn coming. The ghost turns and walks into the fading dark and is gone. Horatio stands in the sudden quiet. He doesn't doubt anymore. This spirit, dumb to us, will speak to Hamlet. They decide before the next dawn comes. They will tell the prince. Morning. The great hall fills with ceremony. Claudius addresses his court, new king, confident, his voice carrying as if he was born to the throne rather than married into it. Young Fortinbras of Norway has been eyeing Danish lands his father lost. Claudius handles this smoothly. An ambassador sent, the threat managed with diplomatic ease. He is good at this. Then Gertrude turns to her son. Hamlet stands apart from the celebration in black mourning clothes. The only dark note in the room. Cast thy nighted color off, she says gently. The court disperses. Hamlet is alone for the first time. There's more of this story, but not tonight. Tonight, just this chapter. The rest will keep. If tonight helped, even a little, subscribe. Next week, another book. Now, Hamlet speaks, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw and resolve itself into a dew. His father has been dead 2 months. Barely 2 months. And already his mother has remarried. The man she married is his father's brother. The throne, the bed, all of it transferred. Frailty, thy name is woman. He doesn't mean all women. He means one specific woman, one specific wound. He can't say it to anyone. He can barely say it to himself. Horatio finds him. Hamlet goes still the moment he sees his friend. A different kind of stillness than before. Something breaks open, quietly. Horatio? Or I do forget myself. Hamlet demands every detail. What did it look like? Was it armed? Did it look at you? Every question precise, urgent. The mind working even through the shock of what he's being told. Hamlet resolves it quickly. I will watch tonight. Horatio warns him. Hamlet won't be dissuaded. Something in him has already decided. Whatever it costs, he needs to know. Elsewhere in the castle, Ophelia sits with her brother Lourdes. He's leaving for France tomorrow. His studies, his life outside these walls. The room has a different quality when leaving is near. Here's where it gets interesting. Lourdes warns Ophelia about Hamlet. His will is not his own. His love, if it is love, is constrained by duty, by state, by things she cannot control. Then Polonius arrives with his own set of warnings. Longer, more elaborate, folded into advice. He loves Ophelia in his way. His way is to control by counsel. Do not believe his vows. She agrees. Of course she agrees. She has no other option. But something in her eyes is doing its own quiet work. She has feelings she is not permitted to name, and she knows it. The battlements at midnight. Hamlet, Horatio, Marcellus, waiting in the cold, the sea invisible below them, the stars hard and distant, the torches flare and settle. Nothing, then everything. The ghost appears. Hamlet's whole body moves toward it before he's decided to. Horatio and Marcellus grab him. Do not go, my lord. The ghost raises one hand and beckons. He pulls free. Follows the ghost to the far end of the battlements alone. Horatio and Marcellus watch from a distance, hearing nothing, seeing two figures, one real, one not, moving away. The ghost speaks. His father's voice, or something wearing it. The story comes out like poison finally named Claudius. The garden, a vial of Hebanon, his father sleeping, and then not sleeping. Remember me? The ghost descends. Hamlet stands at the battlement edge, the wind off the sea pulling at his clothes, the cold coming in. The knowledge settling like weight into his bones. Hamlet swears Horatio and Marcellus to silence. Again and again, the ghost's voice echoing beneath the ground. Swear. They swear. Hamlet's eyes are somewhere else already. In the days that follow, Hamlet changes. He lets his clothes go. He stops finishing his sentences. Whether he is performing madness or sliding into it, that question the play will never answer. Ophelia goes to her father. Hamlet came to her chamber. He said nothing. He held her face and stared at her for a long time, as if memorizing her, then backed away and left. Polonius nods with satisfaction. He has his diagnosis: lovesickness. He was wrong to forbid Ophelia from Hamlet. Now he will tell the king. He is certain he is completely wrong. Claudius has his own theory. He summons Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, Hamlet's old university friends, now come to court. Their job: find out what's really troubling the prince. They find Hamlet in the courtyard. And this is the part most people miss. Within 30 seconds, Hamlet has seen through them completely. He plays along, but he knows. What a piece of work is a man. Hamlet tells them Denmark is a prison, the world a magnificent cage, and he himself cannot feel the beauty of any of it. He means every word. Then the players arrive. A traveling theater company, carts and costumes, noise and color coming through the castle gate. Hamlet's face changes the moment he hears them coming. He greets the lead player like an old friend. Asks for a speech, the speech about Hecuba, Queen of Troy. The player delivers it, and then begins to weep for a woman who never lived. Alone after, Hamlet tears himself apart. What's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? A player cries for fiction. Hamlet cannot cry for fact. What is wrong with him? The plan comes to him like cold water. The players can perform a scene, the murder, his father's murder, precisely, acted out in front of the court. If Claudius flinches, Hamlet will know. The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king. He says it quietly to no one, but the words land like something placed very carefully in exactly the right position. Claudius and Polonius arrange their own trap. They will place Ophelia in Hamlet's path. She will return his letters, withdraw from him, and they will watch from behind a tapestry. Hamlet approaches from the far end of the corridor alone, not yet seeing her. To be or not to be, that is the question. The words come before he knows anyone is listening. whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. He is weighing everything. To die, to sleep, no more. He turns it slowly. Death as rest. The end of the heart-ache, all of it, the body's suffering. He is considering it with genuine precision, not performance. The undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns. Death is not the fear, it's what might be waiting. The something after, which could be worse, and so we endure. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all. The thought stops action. The awareness of consequence slows the hand. He's not describing a weakness. He's describing what makes us human. He sees Ophelia. The soliloquy ends, just like that, the private thought sealed away. He greets her formally, but something in his eyes shifts, sharper, watching, performing now. Get thee to a nunnery. Hamlet's cruelty comes fast, in waves. Some of it is performance. He suspects they're being watched. Some of it is real. He is driving her away for her own safety. Ophelia watches him go. Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown. She is not describing political danger. She is mourning someone she loved, in plain sight, and no one sees it. Claudius has watched all of it. He's not convinced by Polonius's lovesickness theory. Love, his affections do not that way tend. Something else is wrong. England becomes his answer. Polonius proposes one more test first. Gertrude alone with Hamlet after the play tonight. He will hide behind the tapestry and listen. We will try it. Claudius agrees. Polonius is pleased. Evening. The players' stage has been assembled in the great hall. The court arrives in festive clothes. Nobody knows what they've come to see. Hamlet moves through them, watching Claudius. Hamlet arranges himself near Ophelia, not beside Gertrude, not beside Horatio. He needs to watch Claudius from a certain angle. He plays the fool for the court. He is working. The dumb show begins first. A mimed prelude. A king sleeping in a garden. A man pouring something into his ear. The king dies. The murderer courts the queen. It is all there, silently. Claudius watches the dumb show and says nothing. Hamlet watches Claudius watching. Horatio watches. The play is already a performance, inside a performance, inside a court, that is itself a performance. The players speak. The player king lies in his garden, the same pose, the same afternoon quiet. A figure approaches, kneels, pours, the player king jerks, shudders, stills. Hamlet leans forward. He poisons him at the garden for his estate. He names it, loudly, clearly, directed at no one and entirely at one man. Claudius's hands grip his chair. Claudius rises. Give me some light. The word erupts. The court erupts. Torches moving, voices everywhere. Claudius walks out. The play is over. Hamlet has his answer. Hamlet finds Horatio in the sudden quiet after the court has dispersed. I'll take the ghost's word for £1,000. They both know what it means. They both know what comes next. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern arrive with the king's summons. Gertrude wants Hamlet. Hamlet plays with his old friends. A recorder, a flute. He extends the metaphor until it becomes an accusation. You would play upon me. Hamlet says it quietly. He's done with the pretense. They were sent to find what's wrong with him. They will not find it. They are instruments someone else is playing. Walking to find Gertrude, Hamlet passes the chapel. Through the half-open door, Claudius, on his knees, hands clasped, praying. Hamlet stops. His hand goes to his sword. The perfect moment. Now might I do it, Pat. Now he is praying. Hamlet's hand tightens. Everything points toward this. The king's back is turned. The moment is complete. He could end it all right here. He stops. He puts the sword away. Killing a man at prayer might send his soul to heaven, and his father died without last rites. This revenge would be too kind. He will wait for a worse moment. Claudius is alone. He confesses, to himself, to God, to the empty chapel. He knows the prayer has failed. He cannot give up the crown. He cannot give up Gertrude. My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Hamlet reaches Gertrude's chambers. He came for confrontation. Something in him that has been locked for months needs to break open, needs her to see what she is part of. Gertrude reads something in his face she hasn't seen before. She calls out, "What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me." A voice behind the tapestry cries out too, "Help! How?" Hamlet draws his sword and drives it through the tapestry. A grunt, a fall. He pulls back the fabric. Polonius, dead. He stares at the old man on the floor for a long time. "Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool." Hamlet turns to Gertrude. The death of Polonius has not stopped him. If anything, it has stripped away the last barrier. He holds up two pictures, his father, Claudius. "Look here upon this picture, and on this." The ghost appears. In Gertrude's chamber, in his nightgown now, not armor. Hamlet speaks to it. Gertrude sees nothing. "This is the very coinage of your brain," she tells him. She thinks he has finally broken. Hamlet drags Polonius's body from the room. He is not without feeling. There's something that might be regret in the way he handles the old man. "I do repent. Then, come, sir, to draw toward an end with you." Claudius learns what has happened. The efficiency with which he processes Polonius's death is almost admirable. Grief is not his first response. Strategy is. He will send Hamlet to England. Tonight, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are given a sealed letter and a prince to escort. The ship will leave at dawn. Hamlet walks between his two old friends toward the harbor. A prisoner who doesn't yet know the letter's contents. Ophelia enters the great hall, and the court goes quiet. Her hair is down, flowers woven into it. She is singing to herself softly, as if no one else is in the room, because for her no one is. Gertrude turns her face away. She cannot watch. She knows what has been done to this girl, indirectly, unavoidably, and the knowledge is a weight she cannot put into words, not here. Ophelia begins to hand out flowers, each one chosen: rosemary for remembrance, pansies for thoughts, rue, bitter herb, for herself and for the queen. She knows exactly what she's doing. Claudius watches Ophelia from across the room with a politician's eye. She is becoming a liability. Her grief is public, her references too pointed. He needs this contained. He needs Lartz. The castle gates open. Lartz arrives at a run, not a walk. He's gathered men. He's come back hot with grief and fury. His father is dead. Nobody sent word. He found out on his own. Lartz bursts into the throne room. Where is this king? His men are at the door. Claudius stands, does not back away. How came he dead? Lartz demands. I'll not be juggled with. Claudius speaks slowly, clearly, letting the calm itself be the argument. That I am guiltless of your father's death. Let this be certain. He is very good at this. Lartz wavers slightly. Ophelia enters. She's still singing. Lartz turns and sees his sister and everything in him. The fury, the strategy, the words, stops. What's been done to her lands in him like a blow. She sings, and will he not come again? No, no, he is dead. Go to thy deathbed. He never will come again. She is singing about her father. She knows he is gone. The song is how she holds it. Claudius moves. He takes Lartz aside. Gently, with the arm around the shoulder of a man offering condolence. He will grieve with Lartz. He will be on his side. I loved your father? In the privacy of a side chamber, Claudius works. He builds a picture of shared loss, of love for Polonius, of the danger Hamlet represents to them both. The grief becomes a tool in his hands. A letter arrives. Hamlet's handwriting. He has escaped the ship, returned to Denmark. He will be at court tomorrow. Claudius reads it twice, then looks at Larditz. Do you love your father? Claudius pivots. Hamlet is back. And Hamlet is the problem, has always been the problem. He begins to sketch the plan aloud. A fencing match. An accident. A thing that looks like sport. The details take shape. Larditz adds the poison himself. Unbaited rapier, the tip dipped. His own contribution. His own hands in it now. Claudius adds the poisoned cup of wine as a second guarantee. Stay with this. It matters later. Before the plan can move forward, a servant enters. His face already carrying the news. Gertrude appears in the doorway behind him. She will tell it herself. Gertrude speaks carefully, almost gently. There is a willow that grows aslant a brook. Ophelia was there, making garlands. The branch broke, she fell, she sang, floating. Then she sank. Laertes holds it for a moment. Then, too much of water hast thou, poor Ophelia, and therefore I forbid my tears. He tries, he cannot, he walks out. The tears come in the corridor alone. The graveyard outside Elsinore. 2 gravediggers, clowns. Shakespeare calls them. Digging Ophelia's grave and arguing cheerfully about whether she deserves a Christian burial. Death has not made them solemn. Hamlet and Horatio arrive at the graveyard from the road. Hamlet has been on a ship, in a fight, and in exile, and he has come back different, lighter, somehow. They hear the singing before they see the grave. A skull is thrown up from the grave, then another. The gravedigger sings as he works. Hamlet picks up a skull, examines it with genuine curiosity. Horatio watches him. Whose was this? The gravedigger tells him Yorick, the king's jester, dead 23 years. Hamlet goes still. Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him. Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest. He is talking to the skull. The funeral procession comes through the churchyard gate. Hamlet sees the flower-strewn coffin, sees Larditz walking behind it, raw-faced with grief. Doesn't yet know who it is. Larditz leaps into the grave, holds Ophelia. Now pile your dust upon the quick and dead, till of this flat a mountain you have made. Hamlet steps forward from the headstones. This is I, Hamlet the Dane. Larditz comes out of the grave and takes Hamlet by the throat. They wrestle, grief against grief, on the edge of Ophelia's grave, in front of the court. Neither man is performing. This is real. They are pulled apart. Hamlet speaks. I loved Ophelia, 40,000 brothers could not, with all their quantity of love, make up my sum. Then he walks away shaking. Back inside, Hamlet tells Horatio what happened at sea. The ship in the dark. Unable to sleep, he wandered. Found Rosencrantz and Guildenstern asleep. And found the letter in their bag. The letter carried orders for his execution on arrival in England. Hamlet read it by moonlight, then rewrote it, replaced his own name with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern's. Sealed it with his father's ring. Pirates. The next morning, a pirate ship alongside. Hamlet was the one who boarded them. His 2 companions remained on the original vessel. The pirates, amused by him, let him go. He came home alone. There's a divinity that shapes our ends, rough hew them how we will. Hamlet says it without heaviness. Something has settled in him, not resignation, but acceptance. He is ready in a way he wasn't before. Osric arrives, a courtly young fop, overdressed and hat in hand. He brings the king's invitation, a fencing match between Hamlet and Laertes, a wager laid. The king thinks Hamlet will win. Osric departs. Hamlet tells Horatio, thou wouldst not think how will alls hear about my heart. He says it simply without drama. A fact, a discomfort. He doesn't know what it means yet. Horatio urges him to refuse. If your mind dislike anything, obey it. He means it. He would walk away from this match, this court, all of it, if Hamlet asked. The offer is real and full. The readiness is all. Hamlet says it quietly, not bravado, something gentler. He doesn't expect to survive this. He has made his peace with not knowing when. He is ready to meet what comes. The court assembles. Rushes on the floor of the great hall, weapons laid out on cloth. It looks like sport. Everyone dressed for a celebration. Nobody in the crowd knows what the king has arranged. Hamlet crosses the floor to Laertes, extends his hand. Give me your pardon, sir. I've done you wrong. He means it. He is not performing the apology. He knows what he cost this man. Laertes accepts the apology in formal terms, but will not yield the cause. He is committed now. The poisoned blade is on the table. His hands are already in it. There is no way back. The match begins. Back and forth across the rush-strewn floor, the court watching, applauding, taking it for sport. Hamlet scores the first touch. Then the second. The king calls for wine. Gertrude takes the cup. She drinks to Hamlet's success, raises it to him across the floor. Claudius sees, reaches toward her too late. Gertrude, do not drink. She smiles and drinks again. The match continues. In the scuffle of the third pass, Laertes draws the unbaited blade, the poisoned one. He catches Hamlet's arm. A scratch. Shallow. Hamlet doesn't stop. The blades exchange hands in the scuffle. Hamlet has the poisoned rapier now. He doesn't know it yet. Laertes is cut by his own weapon. Both men feel something. The match stumbles to a halt. Gertrude falls. Not dramatically. She sits down heavily, one hand to her head. Claudius is at her side before anyone else. She looks at him. The drink. The drink. I am poisoned. She looks at Hamlet. Laertes, bleeding now and knowing what the blade carries, goes to his knees. The king's to blame. He says it to the room. All of it, the rapier, the cup, the plan. He names it all. Hamlet turns. He looks at Claudius. Everything, his father, his mother, Ophelia, Polonius, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern. The years of waiting. All of it converges into one single clear moment. Hamlet crosses the floor. He wounds Claudius with the poisoned blade, then forces the poisoned wine into him. Claudius falls. He is dead before the court has finished screaming. Hamlet is dying. He knows it. The scratch, the poison already working. Horatio reaches for the cup to drink too. Hamlet stops him. Give me the cup. Let go. He needs Horatio alive to tell the story. The rest is silence. Hamlet dies in Horatio's arms, not with a speech, with a stopped sentence. Something he began to say and couldn't finish. The most human ending imaginable. Horatio looks at his friend, finds the words he has. Good night, sweet prince, and flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. It is the most beautiful sentence in the play, and it is not enough. Nothing would be. Fortinbras arrives from outside. He's been marching through Denmark on unrelated business. He enters to find the Danish court destroyed. He orders a soldier's funeral for Hamlet. He will take the throne. The bodies are borne out. Gertrude, Claudius, Laertes, Hamlet, carried on soldiers' shoulders as Fortinbras ordered. The court that was is gone. The hall that held everything empty now. The hall is empty. A torch gutters in a draft from the open doors. Outside, the cannon fires for Hamlet's funeral, a soldier's honor for a man who never wanted to fight. And then silence. The story is over. But the play isn't finished with us yet. Now we go inside Hamlet himself, inside the characters who built this tragedy around him, one careful choice at a time. What makes Hamlet different from every other revenge hero is not that he delays. It's why he delays. He thinks too precisely. He needs certainty in a world that refuses to give it cleanly. The ghost, real or guilt made visible, the play allows both. If real Hamlet's mission is just, if a devil wearing his father's face, he might have acted on a lie. He had to know. That was the trap. Hamlet's father, in his telling, was everything: brave, loving, accomplished. So excellent a king, 2 months dead and already replaced. Hamlet is defending an image as much as a man. His relationship with Gertrude is the wound beneath the wound. He loves her. He is disgusted by her choice. Those two things don't cancel each other. They exist together, and it's unbearable. Seems, madam? Nay, it is. Early in the play, Gertrude asks why his grief seems so present. He corrects her. It doesn't seem, it is. He refuses to perform even grief. This is who he is. The feigned madness is one of the play's most argued questions. Watch carefully. Hamlet is in control when observed by enemies, genuinely unraveling when alone. Perhaps both are true. Perhaps there's no difference. The ghost's command, revenge his fall and most unnatural murder, is an impossible ask. To kill a king, without proof, without allies, while pretending everything is normal. The weight of that is real. Claudius. It is worth pausing on what he is. Not a cartoon villain. A man who wanted something very much, found a way to take it, and has been managing the consequences ever since. What Claudius truly wants is simple: the crown, Gertrude, peace. He is not a man who loves power for its own sake. He loved a woman and wanted a life. His methods were monstrous. His wants were ordinary. The prayer scene is his most honest moment. My offense is rank, it smells to heaven. He knows what he did. He cannot undo it. He cannot truly repent, because repentance would cost everything he committed the sin to gain. Gertrude. The play never tells us what she knew. Did she know Claudius killed her husband? Did she suspect? Was she innocent? Shakespeare leaves the question open, and that space is where she lives. What is certain about Gertrude? She loves Hamlet. Her love is real and limited. She cannot protect him from Claudius. She cannot name what Claudius is without destroying the life she has built. And so she doesn't. The closet scene, mother and son speaking truth at terrible cost. Hamlet forces her to see. She sees. Whether she acts on what she sees, the play is ambiguous. But in that room for that hour, she saw. When Gertrude drinks from the poisoned cup, she does it to honor Hamlet. Claudius cannot stop her in time. Whether she knew the cup was poisoned, we cannot say. Either way, she chose her son at the end. Ophelia's tragedy is the cleanest and the cruelest. She is not a participant in the plot. She is caught in it. Every man who loves her, father, brother, Hamlet, places a demand on her. None of them ask what she wants. Her madness, when it comes, is a kind of liberation. For the first time, she says what she means. The flowers are accusations. The songs are truths. Nobody can argue with madness. And so she finally speaks. The flowers. Rosemary for remembrance. She gives it to Lurds. Pansies for thoughts. Fennel and columbines for flattery and ingratitude. She gives these to the king. Rue for sorrow. She hands it out like a verdict. Laertes is Hamlet's mirror. Same age, same grief, same father taken by the same violence. He arrives at the same crossroads. Act or wait. He doesn't wait. The play watches what that costs him. What Laertes chooses that Hamlet cannot. Rage without hesitation. To hell allegiance vows to the blackest devil. He will act. He will not examine the act first. This is presented as strength. It is also how he dies. Horatio is the play's still point. While everyone else performs, he observes. While everyone else acts on passion, he watches. Hamlet trusts him completely because Horatio is the one person in the play who wants nothing. Give me that man that is not passion's slave, and I will wear him in my heart's core. Hamlet tells Horatio this before the play. Within the play, he is describing what he values. He is describing what he cannot be himself. Polonius. He is played for comedy, and he earns it. Pompous, meddling, in love with the sound of his own advice. But he loves Ophelia and Laertes in his way. His way is a disaster for them. He means well. The love between Hamlet and Ophelia, it existed. The letters, the tokens, the memory of it in both of them. What happened to it is the question. Whether Hamlet's cruelty toward her was protection or destruction, the play will not say. I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not, with all their quantity of love, make up my sum. He says it at her grave. It is the most direct statement of feeling in the play. It arrives too late for anything. Performance is the play's deepest theme. Every character performs a version of themselves for every other character. Hamlet performs madness. Claudius performs grief. Gertrude performs compliance. Only Horatio doesn't perform. Only Horatio survives. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Marcellus says it on the battlements after the ghost has gone. It is the play's most famous line after "to be or not to be," and it names something real about power. The rot isn't metaphor, it's specific. A crime at the top, a lie at the center of the state. Corruption doesn't announce itself. It wears the face of ceremony and good governance. Elsinore looks fine from the outside. Time and delay. Hamlet has 5 clear opportunities to kill Claudius before the final scene. He takes none of them. Each delay has a reason. The reasons are real, and each one costs someone else their life. The play is sympathetic to Hamlet's need for certainty. Killing a king on a ghost's word alone would be murder, not justice. The play within the play is not delay. It is due diligence. He needed proof. He got it. The play within the play. Shakespeare's most elegant structural device, art used as a tool for truth. Hamlet turns theater into a weapon. The stage becomes a mirror. The audience becomes the evidence. Words as weapons, sharper than swords in this play. Hamlet kills with language before he kills with a blade. His soliloquies wound himself. His words to Ophelia wound her. His speech to Gertrude cracks her open. Death in Hamlet is not abstract or noble or clean. It is constant and specific. Polonius behind a tapestry. Ophelia singing as she sinks. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern offstage. Death keeps arriving in the wrong moments. The skull, Yorick's skull, is the play's most famous image because it earns its weight. Hamlet doesn't philosophize at a prop. He holds someone he knew. The skull has a name. It changes everything about the speech. To be or not to be. The most quoted lines in English, and the most misunderstood. He is not asking whether to live or die in a general sense. He is asking whether it is nobler to endure or to resist. That is different. The fear underneath the question is specific. The undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns. He is not afraid of death. He is afraid of what might be waiting. Consciousness continuing somewhere worse. He cannot rule it out. Revenge as theme. The play doesn't endorse it. Every act of revenge in Hamlet creates more death than it resolves. Laertes' revenge kills him. Hamlet's revenge kills him, Gertrude, and himself. The ghost's demand costs everyone. Justice versus revenge. This is Hamlet's true dilemma. He doesn't want to murder Claudius. He wants Claudius held accountable. But in the world of the play, those are the same action. He can't have one without the other. action and consequence. Every death in the play ripples. Polonius dies, which breaks Ophelia, which enrages Laertes, which gives Claudius a weapon. No death is contained. Each one becomes the cause of the next. The ending is inevitable from the first scene. The ghost on the battlements sets the machinery in motion. Every subsequent scene is the machinery running. The tragedy was assembled in the garden before the play began. Before all of this, before his father died, Hamlet was a student at Wittenberg. Books, argument, philosophy, Horatio beside him. He was funny, curious, beloved. The play is the story of what grief and injustice can do to that person. Friendship in Hamlet. Horatio is given what Hamlet cannot keep: survival. The play gives Horatio the task of living. Hamlet needs someone to remember him after the silence. The friendship is the play's only gift. Love in Hamlet. Present everywhere, insufficient to save anyone. Hamlet loves his father, his mother Ophelia, Horatio. Gertrude loves Hamlet. Laertes loves Ophelia. The love is real. It doesn't protect anyone. The body count. Polonius, Ophelia, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, Laertes, Gertrude, Claudius, Hamlet. 8. And none of them feel meaningless, because Shakespeare gave each one a distinct life before ending it. The rest is silence. 4 words, a sentence that begins and stops. The most famous death line in literature, and it is not a completion. It is an interruption. Whatever else Hamlet might have said, the silence took it. Fortinbras arrives at the end and inherits everything. He is the least complicated person in the play, a soldier, a pragmatist, someone who wanted land and got a kingdom. He didn't earn it. That is also part of the tragedy. Bear Hamlet like a soldier to the stage. Fortinbras orders the soldier's funeral. It is honor. It is also given by someone who never knew Hamlet, who knew only what remained of him at the end. This is what honor can do and cannot do. And in this harsh world, draw thy breath in pain, to tell my story. Horatio's task. To translate what happened into something that can be told. That task is ongoing. It is what every production of Hamlet since has been. Why the story survives. What in us recognizes Hamlet's struggle? The gap between knowing what is right and being able to do it. The weight of grief on action. The cost of certainty in an uncertain world. These are not Elizabethan problems. The play's refusal to resolve. Hamlet dies without completing his thought. Gertrude's guilt is never established. The ghost may have been a devil. These are not oversights. They are architecture. The questions are the point. Hamlet as a character we carry. Something of him stays. The hesitation before a necessary action. The rage that thinks too much. The love that arrives expressed as cruelty. We have met him somewhere. The play left something in the world it didn't find there. A new way of writing interiority. The self watching itself think. Every novel that goes inside a character's mind owes something to what Shakespeare built here. The emotional weight is starting to settle now. The play has been held, examined, felt. Let it begin to rest. The story has been told. Completely and in good company. You don't have to hold it tightly anymore. The image of Elsinore at last. After everything. The ghost, the play, the deaths, the silence. The castle is still there. Stone on a cliff. The sea below. The sky above. It holds the story and it outlasts it. A breath. The story has been told. Now the context. The man who wrote it, the world it came from, and what 4 centuries have done with what Shakespeare left behind. Born fiend 64 in Stratford-upon-Avon, died 1616, 52 years, 37 plays, 154 sonnets, and almost nothing certain about the man himself. Stratford was a market town, unremarkable. His father was a glover who rose to be bailiff, the town's chief official, then fell into debt. Shakespeare grew up watching a man navigate public success and private failure. The Globe Theatre, built 1599 on the south bank of the Thames, open to the sky. 3,000 people packed in for a penny, groundlings standing in the yard, nobles in the galleries. Hamlet was first performed here. Elizabethan London was loud, crowded, and dangerous. The plague closed the theaters regularly. Public executions drew crowds. Bears were baited across the river from the Globe. Shakespeare wrote his greatest plays in this noise. Shakespeare didn't invent Hamlet. The story came from Saxo Grammaticus, a Danish historian writing in the 12th century, then through a French retelling by Belforest. Shakespeare found it and made it something else entirely. Hamlet was written around 1600 to 1601. Shakespeare was 36. He was at the height of his powers. He had already written Romeo and Juliet, A Midsummer Night's Dream, the history plays. Hamlet was where he went next. There may have been an earlier Hamlet. Scholars call it the Ur-Hamlet, written perhaps by Thomas Kyd in the 1580s. It is lost. Only references to it survive. Whatever it was, Shakespeare's version replaced it so completely the earlier play vanished. 3 texts of Hamlet exist. The first quarto, short, possibly a reconstruction from memory. The second quarto, long, possibly from Shakespeare's own manuscript. The first folio, the collected works. All 3 differ. All 3 are Hamlet. Which Hamlet do we raid? Most modern editions blend Q2 and the folio, an editorial composite that Shakespeare never authorized. The play we know is itself a construction. That seems appropriate. The political world of 1601. Elizabeth I was aging, had no hair, and the question of succession was genuinely terrifying. A play about a kingdom ruled by a man who murdered his way to the throne was not abstract entertainment. Revenge tragedy was a popular genre in 1601, the Spanish tragedy Titus Andronicus. They featured ghosts, murders, and elaborate revenges carried to completion. Hamlet inherits all of this and then refuses to follow the formula. In Elizabethan England, the theology of ghosts was genuinely complicated. Protestant doctrine said purgatory didn't exist. So what was the ghost? A devil? A hallucination? A genuine soul? The audience in 1601 would have felt this question physically. When the ghost appeared at the Globe, the groundlings would have gone quiet in a particular way. Not the quiet of an audience watching a special effect. The quiet of people confronting something they genuinely feared was possible. Shakespeare's son Hamlet died in 1596, 4 years before Hamlet was written. He was 11 years old. Shakespeare was in London when it happened. He came back to Stratford for the funeral, then returned to London and kept writing. Whether Hamlet's death is in Hamlet, no one can say for certain. The names are nearly identical. The play is saturated with grief for a father, but Shakespeare left no record of the connection. The question stays open, like so much else. The first Hamlet was Richard Burbage, the greatest actor of the Elizabethan stage. Tall, commanding, capable of the soliloquies. Shakespeare wrote Hamlet knowing Burbage would play him. The role was made for a specific body and voice. In its own time, Hamlet was popular and also puzzling. Too long, too philosophical. The gravedigger's scene was beloved. The soliloquies were famous immediately. To be or not to be was quoted within years of the first performance. Within decades, Hamlet was traveling. A copy was recorded aboard an East India Company's ship in 1607, sailors performing it off the coast of Sierra Leone. The play was already escaping the theater and finding its way into the world. The Romantics claimed Hamlet as their own. Coleridge said Hamlet was himself. Too much imagination, too little action. Goethe's Werther is Hamlet's direct descendant. The 18th and 19th centuries saw in Hamlet the portrait of the modern sensitive mind. The Victorians loved Hamlet too, but differently. Henry Irving's Hamlet in the 1870s was definitive for a generation. Slow, psychological, interior. Irving played him as a man paralyzed by sensitivity rather than calculation. The 20th century handed Hamlet to psychoanalysis. Every choice, every relationship, every delay, suddenly explicable through fraud. The interpretations multiplied. The play absorbed them all without being reduced to any of them. Froude argued Hamlet couldn't kill Claudius because Claudius had done what Hamlet unconsciously desired. Possessed Gertrude, killed the father. Ernest Jones expanded it into a book. It is convincing and it misses something essential. Hamlet in wartime. Soldiers carried it, officers quoted it. Something in the play speaks to people facing death without certainty about the cause or the outcome. The readiness is all. Found new readers in every 20th century conflict. Laurence Olivier's 1948 film opened with a statement, "This is the tragedy of a man who could not make up his mind." Scholars have argued with that line ever since. Olivier simplified, but he also filmed something magnificent. Stage Hamlet versus screen Hamlet. The play changes with the medium. On stage, the soliloquies are addressed to the audience directly. On screen, the camera moves in close. Neither is wrong. The play accommodates both without losing itself. Non-Western Hamlets. Japan's No tradition found resonance with the ghost. Indian productions recast the court as a Mughal palace. African adaptations made Fortinbras the protagonist. The story keeps finding new containers. Political Hamlets. Under Soviet censorship, Eastern European companies staged Hamlet as coded protest. The corrupt court was legible to audiences who knew how to read it. The play was dangerous because it was useful. Women playing Hamlet. The tradition is older than you might think. Sarah Bernhardt played him in 1899. Since then, countless. The role belongs to whoever can carry its interior weight. Gender turns out to be incidental. Feminist readings of Ophelia reclaimed her from decoration. She was not a prop for Hamlet's grief. She was a person driven mad by the real demands placed on her by real men who loved her badly. That reading changed how she's staged. Post-colonial readings asked what it means to make a canonical text like Hamlet central to education worldwide. The play travels with power. It arrives in classrooms from Lagos to Seoul as the great work. That is also worth examining. Hamlet in popular culture, allusions everywhere, mostly unconscious. The skull image, the hesitation, to be or not to be. The Lion King, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. The play is background radiation in English, speaking culture, to be or not to be. The most quoted line in English is almost never quoted in context. Most people who say it are invoking a mood, not an argument. The actual question is far more specific and more interesting than the mood suggests. The skull. In some productions, a real skull has been used, donated by someone who wanted to be part of the play after death. Andrzej Tchaikovsky, the Polish pianist, donated his skull. It was used at the RSC. Hamlet held an actual dead person. Hamlet is the longest play Shakespeare wrote, around 4,000 lines in the full text. A complete performance runs 4 to 5 hours. Most productions cut a third. What's cut reveals what each era thinks the play is about. What is cut most often? Fortinbras's scenes, Polonius's advice to Reynaldo, the players' longer exchanges. What is almost never cut? The soliloquies, the ghost, the gravediggers, Ophelia's madness. The play knows its own skeleton. The ghost of Hamlet haunts other plays. Chekhov's brooding heroes are Hamlet's nephews. Ibsen's Ghosts takes the title seriously. Every play in which a past crime poisons a present world is in Hamlet's debt. Tom Stoppard's Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, 1966, told Hamlet from the outside. Two minor characters wait in the wings, uncertain what the play needs them to do, unable to see the full picture. Hamlet is the offstage noise. Philosophers use Hamlet to think about action and will. Why do we not do the things we know we should? Hamlet is the case study. 400 years of philosophy have not solved the problem he embodies. He is still useful. Hamlet and modern depression. The diagnosis feels true in ways that make clinicians cautious. The anhedonia, the inability to act, the feeling that the world has lost its color. How weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. What Hamlet wants that the play cannot give him? Certainty. He wants to know the ghost is real. He wants to know Claudius is guilty. He wants to know his action is just. The world offers none of these. He is not wrong to want them. The play's treatment of women, critique or reflection of its time, Gertrude and Ophelia, are both defined largely through their relationships to men. The play is honest about this constraint while not questioning it. That is both its limitation and its accuracy. Children and Hamlet. Young audiences come away remembering Yorick's skull, the ghost, the gravediggers. The humor finds them before the philosophy does. The play has a way of giving each age what it can receive. The humor in Hamlet. Hamlet himself is funny, wickedly, precisely at the worst moments. The gravediggers are funny. Polonius is funny. Osric is funny. The play is not a comedy, but it knows how laughter and grief occupy the same room. Hamlet is dark comedy. The genre defiance is part of its power. It promises a revenge tragedy and then interrupts the formula at every turn. The gravedigger's scene in a tragedy. The play within the play is farce. The comedy makes the tragedy feel true. Why Hamlet survives? This, finally, it contains questions we still live inside. What do we owe the dead? When is action just? What is the self when observed? Can conscience be a guide or only an obstacle? 400 years in, no answers. Still the questions. The line every actor dreams of and dreads. To be or not to be. 8 syllables. The most pressure-filled entrance of any speech in any language. Every Hamlet carries every previous Hamlet into the corridor when it begins. What we bring to Hamlet. Every reading is also a mirror. The undergraduate finds the paralysis. The middle-aged reader finds the grief for a parent. The person in a bad marriage finds Gertrude. The person who has lost someone finds Horatio. The play's final image. Fortinbras ordering honors for a man he never met. A soldier's funeral for someone who never wanted to be a soldier. The world moves on. The castle will have a new king. The story is already being simplified. What Hamlet would have made of the soldier's funeral? We can only guess. He might have laughed. He might have accepted it with the same grace he accepted everything else at the end. The readiness is all. He was ready for whatever followed, even this. The lights of Elsinore going out one by one. The torches burning down. The candles guttering. The fires banked in the great hearths. Night deepening across the castle, the sea, the sky. The weight of the play settling. You have held it. The ghost, the play, the deaths, the questions. Let it rest now. It will hold itself. It has been doing that for 400 years without your help. What stays with you after? A question, maybe a phrase. Horatio's farewell, the skull, the flowers, something that arrived in a particular order tonight and landed in a particular place. That part is yours. The play is over. The night continues. The sea does what the sea does, moves without the story requiring it. The castle stands on its cliff. The stars are where they were. You don't have to follow every word from here. Gentle transition now. The distance between the story and sleep narrowing, the voice slowing, the images softer. If you drift off, that's fine. The book will be here tomorrow. So will everything else. Remember me. The ghost said it on the battlements, in the cold before the dawn came. We do. 400 years of readers, and we do. You among them, now, tonight. 4 centuries. That's how long this play has been finding people who needed it. Every era gets a different Hamlet, and every Hamlet is somehow exactly right for its moment. Shakespeare invented words we use without knowing it. Bedroom appears in Hamlet, possibly its first recorded use. So does eyeball. He built the language we think with. The lady doth protest too much. To thine own self be true. Both from Hamlet. Both misquoted constantly. Both changed meaning the moment they left the play. That is what great lines do. Writers reach for Hamlet when they want to invoke interiority. A self watching itself think. Joyce did it. Woolf did it. Every stream of consciousness novel has a debt here that it may not acknowledge. The soliloquy, speaking one's inner life aloud, became the dominant form because of Shakespeare. Before him it was rarer, cruder. After Hamlet, interiority had a shape. The theater learned to go inside. When the novel inherited the soliloquy, it became free and direct style. The narrator inside the character's mind. Jane Austen, Tolstoy, Henry James, all of them working in the space Hamlet opened up. James Joyce and Hamlet. In Ulysses, Stephen Dedalus argues in the National Library that Shakespeare was the ghost, not Hamlet, that he wrote grief, not a role. The novel is obsessed. Shakespeare haunts it. Dickens performed Hamlet privately, obsessively. He could recite most of it from memory. The theatrical sensibility, the social corruption, the orphaned protagonist. Hamlet is everywhere in what Dickens wrote. Dostoevsky read Hamlet in Siberia, in exile, in a prison camp. He carried Shakespeare. The underground man, Raskolnikov, Ivan Karamazov, all men who think themselves into paralysis. Hamlet's descendants in Russian coats. The 20th century novel of paralysis. Kafka's K, Beckett's Vladimir, Camus's Meersalt. None of them are Hamlet, but all of them live in the world his inability to act made legible. Film noir and Hamlet, the corrupt world. The reluctant investigator who knows too much and can't act on it. The femme fatale who may or may not be guilty. The ending that costs everyone. The DNA is there. The Lion King. Simba watches his father die. His uncle takes the throne. His father's ghost returns. He cannot act until he can. The children watching it are watching Hamlet, and they understand it perfectly. Hamlet in manga, in graphic novels, in webcomics. The skull, the ghost, the hesitation. The language changes, the medium changes. The story persists in every container the imagination offers. Political leaders have quoted Hamlet in Parliament, at trials, in manifestos. The play lends authority to almost any position, which says something about both the play and the people who use it. Hamlet and grief. What the play gets right, grief is not linear. It does not resolve. It makes concentration impossible. It changes your relationship to time. Hamlet is clinically accurate about loss. Hamlet and indecision. What the play gets right, the action that feels impossible, isn't laziness. It is the weight of consequences pressing against the moment of choice until the moment becomes unlivable. Hamlet and performance. The play reminds us we all wear faces that don't entirely fit. We perform versions of ourselves for employers, families, strangers. Hamlet performs madness. We recognize it because we perform too. The consolation Hamlet offers, not that things work out, but that someone else has felt this. The weight without a name, the grief that won't resolve, the thought that stops the hand. You are not alone in this. People read Hamlet when grieving. The permission it gives to sit with what is unbearable, to not resolve it, to speak it to an empty room, is not available everywhere. The play provides a space. The play as companion. Read in hospital rooms, on overnight trains, in the hours that won't give way to sleep. It travels well. It knows about waiting in the dark without knowing what comes next. Hamlet in translation. The soliloquies lose something in every language and gain something too. The question, to be or not to be, in German becomes harder, more philosophical. In Japanese, more ceremonial. The play shapes itself to what the language allows. The play in languages Shakespeare couldn't have imagined. Arabic, Swahili, Mandarin, Bengali. The ghost walks through all of them. The question is asked in all of them. The skull is held up in all of them. Hamlet in Korea. The first Korean translation appeared in the early 20th century, through Japanese texts during the colonial period. A play about a prince whose world has been taken arrives in a nation whose world was being taken. What East Asian productions find in Hamlet? Filial duty pressed against conscience, the weight of ancestors, the obligation to the dead that competes with the needs of the living. It isn't foreign to the play. It is the play. Hamlet and the duty to remember. Remember me, the ghost's command, is also the play's deepest request. To the audience, to every reader, to you tonight, in this room. What we carry from the people we've lost. The ghost is grief made visible. Grief that wants something, that has a shape, that walks through the night asking to be remembered. We know that feeling. Hamlet and legacy, what we leave behind. The play asks it directly. Hamlet's last act is to make sure Horatio lives, so the story survives. The story is the legacy. The telling is the continuation. The play as monument to grief. 400 years and still speaking. Not because Shakespeare was exceptional, though he was, because grief is constant. Because every generation finds a loss it needs language for. Good night, sweet prince. Horatio says it once. It is not a performance. It is what comes out when there are no more arguments to make. We all eventually need to say something like this. For someone, millions of performances. Every major city, every language, every century since 1601. More than any other play. The sheer accumulation of it. All those actors, all those audiences, all those different nights. The actors who defined Hamlet for their era, Burbage Garrick, Keane Irving, Olivier, Gilga Jacobi Tennant, each one carrying the previous ones. Each one making the role new. The play accommodates all of them. David Tennant's Hamlet in 2008. CCTV cameras visible on the palace walls, surveillance built into the set. Elsinore as a state where everyone is watched. Hamlet's paranoia suddenly architectural. Benedict Cumberbatch's Hamlet in 2015. Sold out before it opened, screened in cinemas worldwide. The hunger for Hamlet is not academic. It is personal and recurring. People keep coming back. Hamlet as cultural hunger. We return because something in it is unresolved. The questions it asks remain open. Each generation hopes, perhaps, that this time the play will answer them. It doesn't. That is why we come back. More has been written about Hamlet than almost any other literary work. The scholarship is vast, contradictory, brilliant in places, and the play outlasts all of it. The critics age, the castle remains, the test of time. Why this play specifically has lasted. Not just Shakespeare's skill, not just historical accident, Something in Hamlet touches the nerve of what it is to be a self in a world that asks too much. Shakespeare's genius, most evident here. Not invention of plot, but depth of character. Not novelty of theme, but precision of feeling. He described internal states so exactly they have not been surpassed. What it means to read Shakespeare now, distance and intimacy at once. The language is 400 years old. The feeling is this morning. That gap is where literature lives. The play alive in this room, this night. Here now, between these words and wherever you are. That is not metaphor. That is what stories do when they find someone who needs them. The language is slowing now. The night deepening. If you've drifted, that's fine. The story found you. If you're still here, you don't have to hold on to anything. Just let the words become sound. What you carry from tonight's telling. A question, maybe. Or Horatio's voice. Or the skull, the flowers, the poisoned cup. Whatever came through. It's yours now. The play gave it to you. The skull, the flowers, the poisoned cup, the ghost on the battlements, the corridor where everything was decided. These images are in you now, settled, quiet, no longer moving. Elsinore going quiet, the guards at their posts changing shifts in silence, the torches burning lower, the great hall empty, the throne room closed, the chapel dark, the castle settling into itself, the sea beyond the castle walls, patient, unending. It was there before the play began. It will be there long after. It doesn't require the story. The story required it. The night sky over Denmark, over you. The same stars were there in 1601, when the play was new. They have not moved perceptibly. You are underneath the same sky as the first audience. What Shakespeare knew about being human, that we are more than one thing at once, grieving and funny, loving and cruel, certain and paralyzed. He didn't simplify. That's why it lasts. The gift the play offers, to feel less alone in impossible situations. Someone thought through this. Someone wrote it down. Someone held it up and said, this, too, is what it is to be human. Take it. Rest now. The story has been told. You've stayed with it, all of it, the ghost, the play, the deaths, the questions. That was enough, more than enough. Let it settle. The weight lifting, the night receiving it, the story no longer asking anything of you. You can let it go now. It will hold itself the way it always has. Breath, quiet, the sea, that is all that's left. The oldest things, the ones that were here before the story and will be here after. Rest now. The castle at rest. Guards at their posts breathing slow in the cold. Fires banked in the great hearths. The night settled over Elsinore like something patient and old. Horatio is still alive, the one who was asked to survive, who carries the whole weight of the story in his one continuing body. He is somewhere in Elsinore tonight. What Horatio says, "Good night, sweet prince." He has already said it. It is already done, the farewell given and received. The words hanging in the air of the hall, the softness of that farewell. No anger in it, no reproach. Only love and the wish for rest. The most that one person can offer another at the end. Just that. What we say when someone is gone and we love them. There is never enough. The words fall short. Horatio knew it. Good night. As if sleep were possible. As if rest were waiting. Memory as continuation. Hamlet lives in Horatio's telling. In every production since. In every reader who found the soliloquy at exactly the right moment. The dead live in the keeping of them. Hamlet's voice? What it sounds like in your mind when you read. Something between intelligence and exhaustion. Precise and tired, capable of great warmth mostly withheld, the soliloquies as intimacy. He speaks to you, only you, not to another character, not to the court. The audience dissolves, and there is only this one person thinking, one person listening. What it means to be heard. Hamlet speaks and speaks because no one in the play can truly hear him. Except Horatio. Except you tonight. The soliloquy survives because it found its listener. The night quieting further. The words are becoming softer now. The images slower. You don't need to follow each one. Let them pass like the water below the castle walls. Elsinore in moonlight, the stone pale and cool, the shadows long and soft. The battlements empty now. Only the wind moving where the guards stood in the cold. The battlements empty now. The ghost long gone, back to wherever ghosts go. The command given, the debt paid, the circuit complete. The stone is just stone again. The garden where Ophelia gathered her flowers, still there unchanged. The rosemary growing, the rue, the violets that withered when her father died. They would have come back in spring. The chapel candles guttered out. Darkness where Claudius knelt and could not pray. The kneeling bench empty. The stained glass dark. A kind of peace in the darkness, honest at last. The hall where everything ended. Rushes still on the floor. The weapons somewhere. The cup. The throne vacant. The night coming in through the open doors, claiming the room. The skull of Yorick, returned to the earth by now, or perhaps still in the sexton's keeping. Either way, Yorick is in the ground, as Hamlet is, as everyone in the play eventually is. Flights of angels sing thee to thy rest, what we wish for those we love, not justice, not answers, just rest. The simplest wish, the hardest to grant, the wish extending, here, with you in this room tonight. Rest is possible. The night is here for it. Nothing is required of you now, not even wakefulness. Permission to put the story down? It will keep. Hamlet has kept for 400 years without you holding it. It will be there in the morning, unchanged, waiting. You don't need to hold it. It holds itself. The story has weight of its own. It has always had weight enough. Let your hands be empty of it now. The long line of people who slept after reading this, you among them now. Students in cold rooms, soldiers in tents, travelers on night trains. All of them eventually put it down. Words becoming sound, becoming breath, becoming rest. That is how it works when it works. The story does its job and steps aside. Something easier takes its place. The sea, constant, indifferent, beautiful. It was here before Hamlet. It will be here long after. Tonight it is simply the sound beneath everything, patient as only the sea can be. The stars over Elsinore, over you. The same ones. The distance between them and us unchanged from 1601. The sky is the one thing in the play that hasn't aged. The night doing what nights do, receiving everything. The days wait, the stories wait, the things unsaid. The night takes all of it without complaint, holds it until morning. Hamlet at peace. If such a thing is possible after everything, the rest is silence. He said it himself. Perhaps the silence is what peace looks like. At the end of all that thinking, Horatio keeping the promise. Telling the story, which is this. What you heard tonight is Horatio's telling. It has been Horatio's telling for 400 years. He has kept his word. The story completing its circle. Here, tonight, with you. It started on the battlements in the cold. It ends here in the warmth, in the quiet, in the dark before sleep. The language at its quietest now. The images slow and soft. If sleep is near, go toward it. The story has delivered you here. Its work is done. The warmth of this room against the Danish cold. The North Sea in the distance, frozen and indifferent. Here, it is warm. Here, the story has been told. Here, nothing is asked of you. Nothing required of you. Not understanding, not remembering, not anything, you were here. You listened. That was all it needed. That was enough. The day done. The story told. The night here and receiving everything. What remains is only this, the quiet after a long telling. Let it be quiet. Somewhere, right now, someone else is reading Hamlet. In another room, another language, another hour. The play is always open somewhere. You are not alone in having spent time with it, that continuity. The play moving through time like light through a window. Always the same light. Always a different room. Tonight, your room. Tonight, your window. Let the night take the weight. That is what it's for. The night is patient enough for everything you're carrying. The story, the day, the things you didn't finish, all of it, the words fading, as words do, into quiet. The story becoming memory, becoming something softer. The edge of it dissolving. That is the right direction. Go toward it. The sea, always the sea, beneath everything else tonight. The sound of it was there from the first scene. It will be there after the last. Let it be what it is, just the sea. Breath, just breath. The story has no more need of you. Your breath is the only work left, the slow, even, unconsidered work of a body finding its rest. The castle at rest. The story at rest. The questions at rest, not answered, just resting. That is enough for tonight. More than enough. You at rest. The play has brought you here, to this quiet, this dark, this breath. Wherever you are, the night has you. Let it. The last image of Elsinore, moonlight on stone. The castle reduced to its elements. Pale and patient and old. The last image of Hamlet, young before all of this. At Wittenberg, mid-argument, mid-laugh. That one, what he might have been in another story. Philosopher. Teacher. That quick dark humor turned outward instead of in. But this is the story he got. And he held it with both hands. All of it, the grief and the wit and the impossible question. As you hold yours, even the hard parts, even tonight's, you carried it here. That counts. To be. Yes. Tonight, yes. You are here. The night is here. That is enough. The night receiving you. No more required. Just this. The dark, the quiet, the breath you're already taking. The stars. The sea. The dark. These were here before the story, and they are here after. They don't need you to be anything. Everything settling, as things do in time. The play, the day, the questions. All of it settling. Horatio's voice quiet now. Good night, sweet prince. The wish landing here with you. The wish landing here with you. Good night. The same words Horatio used. They were meant for you too. Let the words go. They've done their work. They found you. They brought you here. Now they can rest too. The play is over. The night continues. These two things are both true, and both are fine. Breath slowing. The way it does when the body is ready. The way it knows when the mind lets it. The weight of the day releasing. Not solved, releasing. The difference matters. It will still be there. Tonight, it can rest. Nothing unresolved requires you tonight. Whatever is unfinished will wait. You have permission to stop. The sea beyond the wall, patient, unending. It doesn't require resolution either. It just continues. You can too. The dark that is not frightening, only deep and quiet. The dark that the night is made of, old and familiar. 4 centuries of readers. Sleeping after this. You are part of that now. A long, quiet line of people who stayed until the end. You among them now. The play has held you as it has held everyone who came before. Now it releases you. Gently. The play keeps itself. You don't need to hold it. It has its own weight, its own gravity, its own way of lasting. Let it go. It will be there tomorrow. The castle, the questions, the ghost on the battlements. All of it, waiting in the morning. The moonlight on Elsinore's stone, still silver old, nothing moving, the world at its most patient. The sea, the stars, the dark. Everything that was here before the play, still here, unchanged and patient. Hamlet resting, and you resting, the same night receiving you both, 4 centuries apart in the same dark, the night taking everything gently, not asking for it, just receiving. The way the sea receives the river. Without effort, the book will still be here tomorrow, so will we. Sleep well. Silence, which is not emptiness, fullness, the silence after a story well told, still warm. The last light going out in Elsinore. One final torch. Then the dark and tired and kind. Good night, sweet prince. For Hamlet. For the play. For tonight for you. Good night. For you too. Good night. The same wish Horatio made, passed forward across 4 centuries. Here. The story done. Everything it carried, delivered. Everything it asked given. It is complete. The night open and ready. You have come to the end. The night is the beginning of rest. Go into it. Let go. The story has you. The night has you. Nothing else is needed. Rest.